Welcome to Take the Exit, the podcast where we explore the stories that intersect with transportation in Illinois.
Hello and welcome to Take the Exit podcast. I'm Paul Wapple, Public Information Officer with the Illinois Department of Transportation. I'm with Kirk Polley, who is the IDOT Communication Center Manager. We're in the Hanley Building in Springfield, which is IDOT's central office, also known as Station 1. Kirk, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Tell me about what goes on here at Station 1.
Station 1 is IDOT's central hub communication center. We simply receive information, we disseminate information. That information comes from all kinds of entities and avenues, including the public, including our own districts, including police agencies, ISP especially. We then take that information and make sure it gets to the appropriate people, agencies, organizations, whoever needs it, to make sure that our roads are open and our roads are safe for the traveling public.
Tell me about some of the situations and the functions, because they're all very important here, what the team does during any kind of weather events, whether it's winter weather or something else, a storm or whatever it might be. What goes on here? What kind of things do they do?
Yeah, it's a kind of a wide range. Obviously, I would say it kind of breaks down into two different avenues. It depends on if the districts are in, let's say, business hours. The ultimate goal is to get response. So let's say ISP has a situation, maybe it's weather, like you said, maybe it's snow and ice. The districts are out, they're plowing the roads, or they're blocking roadways for ISP, say a car accident kind of thing. We get the first step is to get response. So if the districts are in, they're starting that response themselves. If they are not in, then a lot of times that comes to Station 1 after hours, where we are calling the response out. We are calling those districts, getting the response going. Then the ball's rolling, right? And so then now, if they're out doing snow and whatnot, they're kind of handling that themselves. If it's a car accident, blocking roadways, well, now we got to notify the public. We got to notify other IDOT personnel. We got to notify federal highways. So that's our reports. Do that. We create reports and we send them out and disseminate them accordingly.
And those are all very important, and I can tell you that firsthand from what I do and the communications team does. The other folks in Chicago and throughout the state, we get media inquiries and inquiries from the public, and very important to get that information relayed as quickly as possible. Tell me about some of the things here, the monitors and the lights back behind us here at Station 1.
Absolutely. The big wall behind us, that's kind of the eye catcher when everybody walks into the room. That is basically a visual, I would say, for the OCSs here working. We use that as kind of cues of situations and data. So we have everything from a feed from ISP. ISP is sending us all the incidents they're handling on our state roadways right now. So we have that feed. We have a map of our open incidents. So stuff that we're handling in here, it's being mapped on getting around Illinois, so the public can see that. So there again is a visual for us to see what incidents we have open. We have CompassCom, which is an AVL system for all of our snowplow trucks. So we can see the trucks that are in operation, where they're at, that kind of thing. That comes in really handy, especially if an emergency button is hit. The system zooms in to their exact location and tells us what truck it is, their GPS coordinates. That way we can, one, ask them if they need help, but two, get them help if they do need it. And then the beauty of the whole when we forget the cameras, we have cameras, throughout IDOT, and so I think you can see that probably behind us a little bit. You can see some cameras, but the beauty of the wall is everything on that wall can be accessed and seen and used at each individual console. The OCS is able to pull up whatever data they need, whatever feed, platform, application they need to do their job and get information out effectively and efficiently.
How long has this facility, this Station 1, been open? It's not that old. Correct?
No, it's not that old. We actually moved in October of 2020. So construction started approximately a year before that. Obviously, COVID-19 affected it just a little bit, but still moved in October of 2020. So we're just about 5 years old now.
How many people work here in Station 1?
We are full staff at 10. So we have been running short for the last several months. We are happy to say that we have 2 trainees on the floor right now, and another one starting next week. So basically by the time this podcast airs, we should be full staff. So we are excited.
What was the cost of this project, Station 1, the new Station 1?
Just shy of $7 million was the price tag. That obviously includes everything you see, right? It includes the wall behind us, it includes the consoles and the radio equipment, everything we need to do our job. And we have nice equipment, we got state-of-the-art equipment, but what it also entails is stuff you don't see. So it was a major renovation project. They had to take this room down to bare bones, including taking out walls, floor, new electrical, new HVAC, all those things that, again, keep us running, but you don't really see or think about. We also, part of that price tag is a UPS system and a backup generator that keeps us having power and operational 24 hours a day. Even if the rest of the building or even part of the city doesn't have power, we should still have power and be able to continue to do our job.
Tell me a little bit about the previous communication center and how that compares to this.
I would say communication center is probably a stretch.
Okay.
It was tiny. It had room for 2 operators. So only 2 people could fit in there. Very, very tiny, outdated equipment, that kind of thing. In fact, in 2017, D6 had to move their OCS in with us. We had to put them in the break room. We had no more room, kind of thing. So for reference, we now have 10 operating consoles. I can have 10 OCS working at the same time in here.
You mentioned the cost of Station 1. What kind of input did you get any from any other departments of transportation or anything like that? What made the design, the model be the way it is now?
Sure. Previous previous management before me, they did a lot of research. That including going to comm centers in the state of Illinois, surrounding states, doing your online research and looking, at comm centers. I know as far as Texas, Pennsylvania, they were looking just at centers, getting pointers and tips. Trying to, hey, what works, what doesn't work, that kind of thing. But one of the biggest things that dictated how this is set up is the room itself. The dimension of the room kind of dictated how things had to be set up, what we could have, what we couldn't have. So there was a lot of input, but ultimately the engineers and contractors had a lot of say as well.
Talk about the relationship we have with ISP and law enforcement and anybody else, our partners, and how that meshes together with the communication center.
Sure, absolutely. IDOT obviously has a multitude of partnerships, organizations, agencies, IEMA, Federal Highways, U.S. Department of Transportation, just name a few. But Station 1 Comm Center is specifically a huge partnership with law enforcement agencies, especially ISP. They are who we work with on a daily basis, almost on every single incident. So they are receiving those 911 calls, they are taking the information, they are then calling us, notifying us, hey, we got this situation, we need this assistance, maybe to shut down a road, we need this assistance to open up a roadway, maybe it's even snow plowing, that kind of thing. So we are working with them hand in hand on almost every single incident. So our relationship with law enforcement agencies, but especially ISP, is crucial.
And relaying, and you mentioned a little bit, relaying the information about a road, whether it's closed, partially closed, or covered with ice, a little bit snow, whatever it might be, is critical. And to get that information to gettingaroundillinois.com, which is available 24/7, 365, an excellent resource that shows you all the roads and all of the IDOT's 9 districts throughout the big state of Illinois. Talk a little bit about what the monitors and the snow plows and how that works.
Sure. Like I kind of mentioned it a little bit before, the Compass Comm is crucial in that aspect. It's the AVL of all the trucks, right? And so the districts, obviously, they're concerned about their own districts, so they can zoom in to a tighter level on the map and see all their trucks and what routes they're on, have been on, or going to, what roads have been done with the snowplow, that kind of thing. From our standpoint here at Station 1, we're more of a wider view, so we're not paying that close attention to each individual district. But when the emergency button is hit, that's when we care, that's when we step in, and the system allows us to do that quickly, to get a hold of them on the radio and just say, hey, what's going on, kind of thing. So yeah, Compass Comm is a huge asset in just knowing where our trucks are at.
Kirk, tell me about what you and your team see on the monitors behind us. What do they see during severe weather, whether that's snow and ice or a storm or dust or whatever it might be?
So we obviously have a lot of platforms that we use to gather data, but also to disseminate data. Obviously, everything from weather apps to cameras to maps showing our incidents. There's a lot of things, and that's one of the questions we get a lot when people walk in here. Like, wow, you have 5 monitors at each desk. Well, that's because we are using a lot of different platforms and applications to receive that data that we're getting, but also to then be able to disseminate the data out as necessary. One of those monitors is solely dedicated to the radio system, and so that is solely for that. But the beauty of each desk is also that each operator can kind of configure how he or she wants those monitors to be. So somebody might have an application on their left screen, another person might have it on their right screen. It's 100% configurable, but we have a lot of monitors because we have a lot of platforms we're using.
And this is a very busy place, and behind me, each of the workspaces, workstations have lights, and they're not traffic lights. What are those lights behind me and behind us? What are those for?
They are an indicator for the operators in the room. So the yellow lights are if we are receiving radio traffic. A red light would be if we are transmitting radio traffic, and then a green light would be if we're on a phone. And so it's a indicator. I can look across the room and see my partner might be on the phone, so I know that, hey, I can't yell at him or her to handle this, or I know, hey, maybe this call coming in right now is mine because they're already tied up. So it's just some visual indicator for us here in the room.
So just another part of the very important function here of the many facets of Station 1.
Absolutely.
Anything else you'd like to add, Kirk, that the public, you'd like them to know about the Communication Center here, Station 1, what you and the team does? Obviously, it's a very, very important role as part of IDOT.
Yeah, absolutely. Just that, like you kind of mentioned earlier, I mean, Getting Around Illinois is our website that we try to put our incidents on. So our emergency incidents is kind of what we refer to them, our unplanned incidents. We map them on there. Obviously, the construction's on there as well. So we encourage the public to utilize Getting Around Illinois to kind of know what's going on Illinois roadways.
All right. Thanks, Kirk. Kirk Polley, our guest today. Thanks for joining us on Take the Exit podcast. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for riding along with IDOT. This has been Take the Exit. For more inside information on transportation in Illinois, find us on social media or idot.illinois.gov.